Hello, everybody. It is Coach Pine, Pine the Pair Bubbling. However, you know me, you know whose video you clicked on. Well, thankfully, I'm standing in front of the camera after a Chiefs win for the first time in a few weeks. Chiefs beat the Patriots by a score of 27-17. Few takeaways from this game. First thing I want to say is the game really shouldn't have been that close. But at the end of the day, it's Bill Belichick. A Bill Belichick defense is always going to be great, no matter how bad the offense is. And speaking of bad offenses, the Chiefs' offense is really inconsistent. You guys notice that? It's sometimes we look like the Chiefs of old, like we have throughout the entire Patrick Mahomes era, and sometimes we just don't. It's a little rough. We're very turnover prone at times. Really bad in the red zone, to be honest. It's not the best offense I've seen. It reminds me a lot of the offenses from the earlier Alex Smith days when I first really started getting into football. The early Alex Smith offenses worked a lot like this. We relied pretty heavily on the run game and the short passing game and didn't really have much of a deep pass threat at all until the later Alex Smith years, once Travis Kelce really started to become the best tight end in the league. Tyreek Hill was young and coming onto the scene. We had a lot of good guys on that team, but it didn't mesh the best. Matt Nagy was our offensive coordinator back in those days, and I think his system really just isn't the best. And I know at the end of the day, it's Andy Reid's system. Matt Nagy is more of a glorified QB coach, if we're being honest. But whatever Matt Nagy brings to the table, it's not really working. And I could just be putting the blame on the complete wrong person. It could not be Matt Nagy at all. But that's who I'm going to stick to at this moment in time. I thought the defense played very good. Offense, like I said, with the turnovers, put the Patriots in position to score a lot more than they did, and the defense came up big. I know the Patriots do not have a very good offense, but that doesn't mean that our defense didn't play good. This is the first video where I'm actually using a microphone stand, so I don't really know what to do with my body. Normally I'm holding my mic. Might go back to that in the next video. We'll see. I do have the wide receiver snap counts for this week, courtesy of real Kansas City Chiefs fans on Facebook. If you're a Chiefs fan and you're on Facebook, you need to follow that page because they really keep me up to date with information, and these snap counts are very useful for this video. So our top three receivers were Rashee Rice, Justin Watson, and Kadarius Toney in terms of snaps played. I'll talk about Kadarius Toney and the receivers as a whole a little bit later, but I like this group. Our sixth and last receiver in terms of snap played, playing a total of 2 of 60 snaps, was Richie James, who I know just came off of IR a few weeks back, but I think he needs to be incorporated more into this offense. And if I'm not mistaken, Andy Reid did say that he wanted to incorporate Richie James more and that he needs to be more of a focal point. Another guy I think should be not necessarily a focal point, but a threat once he gets back out onto the field is Justin Ross. He was put on the commissioner's exempt list and is now off of that list and is back and able to play. And I think Justin Ross will take the receiver spot of Sky Moore, who was just placed on injured reserve, and we will not be seeing him for at least the rest of the regular season. Another thing I think we should do is get Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon involved in the pass game. Both of these guys are receiving backs, and they haven't been able to showcase that yet this season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire made a beautiful touchdown grab in this game in the back of the end zone. Maybe one of the best grabs I've seen from a running back, at least in a long time. He also had a screen pass, which he didn't really have to do much on that screen pass, but he had a screen pass that went for a lot. They're both receiving backs, and McKinnon actually, I believe he led the league past week 8, past the halfway mark of the season. I believe he led the league in receiving touchdowns as a running back. We need to get these two guys involved more. And another guy we need to do that to is Noah Gray, our backup tight end. If our receivers are going to be inconsistent and not have the ability to make space catch tough passes, we got to get these tight ends involved. We have 3 solid tight ends on the roster in Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and Blake Bell. Also have Edwards-Helaire and McKinnon at the running back position that I've already mentioned. We have Justin Ross coming back off the exempt list. We have Richie James, who we need to get involved more. We have the pieces, guys. If you're a Chiefs fan and you're worried about the team, we have the pieces. It's just, can those pieces get put together? It's like a puzzle. It truly is like a puzzle. Right now we have the edge. When I make a puzzle, I always start with the edge pieces because it's the easiest. They're the easiest to find out of the whole pile because they always have a smooth edge. Right now we have the edge all the way complete. We just got to fill in that middle a little bit. And a guy that I see a lot of people want out of this puzzle is Kadarius Toney. If you've watched my previous videos, you know how high I am on Kadarius Toney. I am a very big Kadarius Toney fan, and I'm going to double down on this. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Kadarius Toney has the skills to be a top receiver in the league. Obviously, he has some things he needs to work on with the catching. That's a big problem, especially this season, is the catching. He just can't seem to catch cold this season, and it costs him. But to be fair, the best receiver on this team and our number one receiver in terms of snap count, playing 60 of 60 snaps, Rashee Rice leads the team in drops, but his drops are always in spots where they don't really matter too much. First down, second down, in a spot where the defender can't get it. Kadarius Toney has to be the most unlucky player in the league. The guy always he doesn't even make that many drops. He drops a lot more than he should, don't get me wrong, but his drops are always in the worst spots. Every time he drops a pass, it pops up in the air. When Rashee Rice drops a pass, it falls to the ground. Kadarius Toney drops a pass, it pops up in the air and gets intercepted. That's why people remember Kadarius Toney's drops a lot more than they remember Rashee Rice drops, or Sky Moore drops, or Justin Watson drops, or even Travis Kelce drops. Those guys fall to the floor. Toney's drops pop up in the air. And should he be securing the catches so that isn't a problem? Yes. But also, a lot of it is just what happens after the drop is a big problem. Rashee Rice, who I've talked about as being our number one receiver, is him. Rashee Rice is the best rookie receiver Andy Reid has ever had. I'm willing to say it. He is a top receiver in this league. He just hasn't had the chance to show it yet. Especially on this team, being our number one guy, Rashee Rice has sky-high potential. And I'll be honest, I wasn't in love with the pick when we picked him in the second round out of SMU. Was not in love with the pick. Thought we could have got him later. I liked the player, just didn't like the spot. And boy, he's proved me wrong. In a redraft, he goes first round, easy. Rashee Rice is him. My final takeaways, we need to get different guys involved on the offense, get the offense more consistent. Defense, keep doing what you're doing. Get these guys back in healthy. Brian Cook, Drew Tranquil to 100%, Nick Bolton to 100%. Get these guys healthy, and we still have potential to make a Super Bowl run. Chiefs can secure the number one seed in the AFC with 2 Ravens losses, 1 Dolphins loss, and the Chiefs win out. We'll have to get out of our own way for that to happen, but it is a possibility. And it's not crazy out of the picture when you look at the schedules that Baltimore and Miami have down the stretch. I'm Pine the Pear, and that's my take. I'll see you in the next video.